All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on this Saturday morning. We got to talk about the week's events. And we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. Why are the Democrats so gung ho about pushing Jasmine Crockett in front of the people, in front of the masses? And it's really a divisive thing in our community because if you criticize her, they're going to call you racist or misogynistic. So she gets to behave and act however she wants on the Congress floor. And it's really an embarrassment. You know, she uses the language that's triggering. See, let me tell you something psychologically what she does. She likes to bring up slavery, chattel slavery, and the horrors of slavery. And she keeps that at the forefront of her constituents' thinking. Then she used terms like mother effer. See, mother effer is historical in the black community. Mother effer is how she refers to things. That's not by accident. That is to trigger. That is to trigger you into racial divide. Mother effer originated and actually comes from slavery, the misuse and abuse of black women during slavery. And the masters referred to as mother effer. So she uses slavery as a trigger to get you on your emotions. Then she uses the foul language, mother effer, consistently in her reference to the power structure, Trump, conservatives. She's misdirecting your dissatisfaction away from the Democratic Party, even though for the last 4 years, you have suffered tremendously with the open borders and the failed policies of the Biden administration. You know, she campaigned for Kamala. She knows that she can't win an election, but what she can do is emotionally trauma bond with her constituents by using racial animus in vulgar language. And nobody wants to call that out. You have Ayanna Presley, they all are coming out as the face of the so called resistance, the face of so called woke revolutionaries. But who are they actually standing up to and resisting? Because Trump won the popular vote, the electoral vote, House and the Senate. So black women have taken a position against America. They have taken a position against God and country. And I know you said, why do I say God and country? Because they ran a campaign based on termination of pregnancy until the 8th month, the transgendering of children, open borders, LGBTQ plus. They ran against everything that the Bible speaks against. They ran against the nuclear family. Their agenda was the destruction of their own communities where their constituents are. Jasmine Crockett is the representative out of Dallas. Look at what's going on in Dallas right now that she won't address. See, what they're doing is they're being used as crash dummies. The black women on the Democratic side are being used as crash dummies. They're being sent out to rabble rouse, stoke animosity and hostility. But what if something really happens? What are they going to do? You never even hear them speak about the 10 black women who were unalived up in Buffalo, New York. They don't never speak against the violence against women unless it has a racial tone to it that they can exploit. This constant misrepresentation of facts is one big psyop. And you have to think about it. They are divided in their own community. And I'm going to show you in this video that there's a lot of black women who don't adhere to the sister girl on the Democratic plantation mentality. because they understand it's dangerous. It alienates you from your menfolk and your community, and you cleave to the Democratic Party more than you would God or your religion. The Democratic Party has become a religion, a cult that defies common sense. What would make you think that men would sit by idly while you transgender their children and terminate pregnancies all the way to the 8th month and leave the borders open for competition? It was one giant maneuver to destroy us as a people. And they have the sister girls out front because, of course, you can't call them on their madness. You can't say nothing to them. They can't be checked. They can't be reined in. So they just out there saying that the president is an enemy of the state. They out there talking about resistance, revolution. They out there talking about even fight until you unalive, Sonny Houston. They're advising you to do something that will destroy your communities, destroy your very lives. And they doing it to keep from being found out how they all became millionaires while their constituents and their base suffered. See, Biden pardoned all that he could and his whole family because he knew that there were going to be some scapegoats who were going to have to go to jail. They know that when Patel and Elon and the rest of those people at Doge get finished finding out the money, the embezzlement, and fraud, they know that handcuffs are coming. They know they violated laws. They know they misappropriated funds. They know these things. So what they have to do is keep saying racism, 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 so that when they're hauled and held into the courts and held accountable for the crimes they committed against the American people, you're going to say it's racism. You're not going to say that it was embezzlement, criminal fraud, and negligence, and thievery and theft. You're going to say, oh, they're coming at them because they're racist. So they have to keep using that as a red herring. But I want you to see on this video how divided this black community really is. I'm going to do a reaction to Kingdom. It's called Kingdom's Reaction. I want you to see his take on the story. This is for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Check this out.
Democrats are saying that Donald Trump giving that 13-year-old cancer survivor the honorary Secret Service title was him pandering or using that man as a prop. Was Nelson Mandela a prop when he sent his private jet? Trump, that is? Was Michael Jackson a prop? I want y'all to listen to this message. Very important message. Something that I'm sure you've considered, but this perspective is golden. Check it out. Told me, they say you hear what people say, but you watch what they do. We've been hearing what the Democrats say for so long, and it sounds good and it feel good. But we watching what they do, and they ain't doing it. We hear what Trump say. It sounds crazy. But when I watch what Trump do, and I go back and I look at real facts about how this man went to court every single day with Michael Jackson, how him and Don King was super, super cool, how this man was on the Wu-Tang Clan album, how when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put them up in Trump Tower for 6 months, protected them, didn't charge them a dime. How he sent his private jet to go get Nelson Mandela out of prison. How he gave Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson $1 million to get started, to get activated in the black community. How he gave me and Kwame Kilpatrick pardons to restart. I hear what people say and I watch what they do. I hear people saying they mad at Trump about the Central Park 5, and I get that. But then I know Trump passed the First Step Act, which done freed close to 20,000 people to this day, including Big Meech getting out on some of that sentencing reduction. That ain't got nothing to do with Kamala, though. That's Trump in the First Step Act. But then I hear what Biden's saying, but I know Biden responsible for the 94 crime bill and the crack cocaine disparity, the thing that took all the real niggas off the streets. This is what Trump's First Step Act was in retrospect said. Trump's First Step Act overturned that 94 crime bill. That's why we see all the real ones come home. That's why we stuck with a generation of Lil Nas X. Chills on my back right now. All of this was strategic. Wipe all the real men off the street. Push this agenda. Because if the real men were in the home, we wouldn't see this like this. So you watched your mama be this pillar of strength in modeling behavior to go back to psychology. And then we watching agendas on TV. Unfortunately, the Democrat Party of the day ain't the same Democrat Party that Grandma done raised us on. A lot of us is Democrat because that's what Grandma done was on. We're going to be honest. We don't even know why we Democrat. That's just what we on because we black. Grandma done said it. The policies have changed. Times have changed. We cannot be educated on abortion and Margaret Sanger and the racism in abortion and vote for it. You can't say Black Lives Matter and vote to kill the Black life that you create and then be mad at white people. Black women. We so stuck up in this feminism with having a choice that we got to feel liberated that we don't.
And let me interject what she said about the termination of pregnancy. Since Roe v. Wade, our community has had over 20 million terminations of pregnancy. 20 million. And we make up this small percentage of the population, and you can't see a correlation between terminating our own seeds and children and violence and drugs. You can't see that this was a genocidal plot that came from Sanger to keep us marginalized, but yet you voted on it. You keep talking about we're a minority, but they market destruction to us. They're going to let you terminate your pregnancy all the way up to the 8th month. That's diabolical. But you got to think about it. This is the Democratic Party. Why is it so anti-black family? Think about that. The Democratic Party is very black anti-family, but yet they use black women as crash dummies and political pawns to antagonize their opposition. And you really can't see that. You really think Jasmine Crockett and Maxine Waters are fit to lead the United States of America, to lead men? Really?
Don't even realize the consequences of our actions. Like, we want to run around here and call a man a deadbeat if he don't want the baby, but bitch, you can go kill the baby and get a pat on the back when you don't want it. And at the same time, they screaming equal rights. They don't really want equal rights. They want control. And I don't want that much control. I don't want the right to kill my children. And if people gonna hate me for that.
Angela Stanton made a hell of a point. She said they screaming they want equality and equal rights, but really they want control. They want control. They want the same type of control that they actually had during slavery, when they had the big mama working in Master Kitchen, keeping all the rest of the slaves in line, giving them biscuits out the back door. That's what they want, only in modern day times. They want to be the gatekeepers of our community, to disperse the funds and benefits how they please, like somebody's brainwashed auntie or mama. It's ridiculous to even look at. If you have a sober, clear mind, it's ridiculous to look at, to see Jasmine Crockett and the rest of them dancing in the hallways, and Al Green, the first man to ever get escorted off the Congress floor at a State of the Union address. But see, what he got was, by him being a man, they're gonna always deal with him harshly. He can't hide behind it's misogynist or nothing like that. They're gonna deal with men harshly. When they get to talking revolution, they get to talking about resist, they get to talking about fighting, they're gonna deal with them harshly. That's why you watch how Hakeem Jeffries is very specific with the words he chooses. He never says a word like revolution. He never says a word like overthrow. He steers away from words that will really get the attention of his opposition. So he let the women do that. He let them talk about revolution and resistance. He let them get out there and talk crazy. You remember what happened the last time the Democrats were trying to overthrow and succeed from this union in the 1860s? Remember when they wanted to keep their slaves? Now they want to keep their free labor. They will win. I mean, they will lose even worse than they did back then, because now they're full of pronouns and entertainers and cosplayers, not a patriot on their team. Find one. Find a patriot on the Democratic side.
Oh well. But people waking up now, but I think what the issue is again, we so stuck on racism. Like they use this whole racism thing to try to control us when yes, racism. Racism is for whatever reason still controlling the minds of so many people. So many of our people as well. Now this was Angela Staton King. This woman has been doing incredible work, but the perspective that she just provided, I mean, was profound. I actually did not know that Donald Trump did that for a couple. He accomplished a few of those different things for Black people specifically. I'm telling you, if he was a racist, he's doing a horrible job at it. I mean, a horrible job. Days Burr said the abortion thing and making sure they are available in Black communities is why the percentage of Blacks in the country has not increased. And that's just what they wanted. We're also going to be talking about Al Green, the guy who was kicked out while Donald Trump was giving his speech to Congress. And yes, he's, you guessed it, blaming Donald Trump kicking him out on racism. Well, Speaker Mike Johnson, I'm sorry. He's blaming it on racism and not on the fact that he was disruptive. And this is how they could keep controlling us, just by throwing that out there. Like she said, we don't even know why we vote Democrat. We just knew that our mom and our dad voted Democrat. It was promoted in the church, this, that, and the third. But like, it's 2025. We can think for ourselves. And we know the real history now. We know why the Republican Party was started, to combat the Democrats who were against giving women's rights.
And we got to actually get to the point where we realize that race baiting and race hustling our communities is tantamount and equivalent to treason and traitorous against our legacy here in our communities, because they watering down any claim that the community may have when there is an actual instance of racism. They never, even on the Democratic side, are honest enough to speak about the racism of Joe Biden. They call the super predators and say we turned schools into jungles and we had to be brought to heel, and you know what I mean? They were gonna put us back in chains. They will never call out true racism. It's a manipulation. It's treasonous for them to manipulate the traumas and trauma bond with their community, only to sell them out and betray them for their donors and political agendas that actually hurt the community. Let's listen to some more.
Who were against, civil rights. I'm just saying, we too smart now. Like she said, we know who Margaret Sanger is. I can't unlearn what I know. And I think that's the problem with the Democratic Party. They want you to just be delusional. Now, she never thought she'd say this, but this woman is very thankful for the Democratic Party. And honestly, for the same reason that she's about to explain, I am too.
So I never thought I'd say this, but I am very thankful for the Democratic Party. I'm thankful that they're showing their true colors. I'm thankful that they lack morals. I'm thankful that what happened to the State of the Union that night revealed how they actually are. I'm thankful that they showed themselves not supporting American citizens. Oddly enough, I'm thankful that they didn't stand up for Laken Riley or DJ. The reason I say this, the past 24 hours, I've been seeing videos of lifelong Democrats saying that they will never vote Democrat again based on what happened that night. Even they are turning and saying, that's unacceptable behavior. What happened that night? Despicable. It wasn't just Republicans that saw that, and that literally gives me hope. That gives me hope. So Democrats, Congress, Al Green, thank you. Nancy Pelosi, thank you. Thank you for showing your true colors. Thank you for showing that you are not for Americans. Thank you for having tantrums. Thank you for your disrespect. Thank you for your lack of professionalism. Thank you for your lack of honor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Literally, in 4 years' time, it's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing to see the turnaround. The 8%ers, people that look like me, oh my goodness, that number, what is that number going to be? Is it going to be 80? Is it going to be 100? Even if it's 30, that's amazing. But I wonder, just statistics, what are those numbers going to be? Demographics, just every aspect, old, young. I am genuinely excited. There's so much hope for America. We're back.
I just wanted to show you a little bit of this clip because when you look at the Democratic Party, you look at Jasmine Crockett, and you look at the people they put in front of you, you have to understand that this is all political theater. They don't have a chance of winning anything. They're losing their own base. And they're not losing their base because of some conservative plot to undermine them. They're losing their own base because their wickedness, their debauchery, their evil, their un-American, unfamily, ungodly agenda is exposed. They expose it every day in front of you. There's people getting your comments or getting my comments, and they actually ask why I don't support the Democratic Party. And I ask them, why do you support termination of pregnancy to the 8th month? Why do you support transgendering your children? Why do you support open borders where gangs from Venezuela and all over the world can come and live in our communities? Why do you support that? If you're a Democrat watching this, ask yourself, why do you support the transgendering of children? Why do you support termination of pregnancy all the way to the 8th month? What's wrong with you that you support it? Just because they put sister girl in your face? I told you that our communities are already responsible for over 20 million termination of pregnancy since Roe v. Wade. Do you actually think a people who are responsible for 20 million terminations of infant life can be a godly community? You think God hears your prayers if you're a Democrat? How can you justify your agenda and your policy? And then you scream racism. Then if somebody tells you, we don't want you coming for our children, you mad. You mad because we don't want you coming for our children. We don't want you undermining the country. And you mad. But you tell me, what about the transgender children do you really like? Why are you supporting that? While at the same time, termination of pregnancy. Why do you want that so bad? Democrats. What are y'all doing with those fetuses, those embryos, those stem cells? Where's all these children that have been trafficked during the Biden administration? You tell me why you support the Democratic Party. And I'll tell you why I don't ever want to see them win again. Well, this is Detroit's HPTV on this Saturday morning. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Keep y'all head on the swivel. As always, salute to all patriots. Peace.